Hi, folks. Tim Houston here, and I just want to thank you for your interest in learning how you might be able to contribute to the revised version of the very first book I ever published, and that's The World's Worst Networker, Lessons Learned by the Best from the Absolute Worst. For those of you who don't know or never read the book, this is a collaborative effort between myself and about a dozen other writers, authors, business gurus, and personalities who are considered among the best networkers and the best relationship builders in the entire world. Some are household names, some you never heard of before, but each and every single one of them is a success when it comes to business networking. The only thing is that sometimes they were not a success, or they've encountered people who were not a success when it came to networking, for lack of a better description. These were the, like I constantly refer to them as the nightmares of networking, the people who would do things and say things and behave a certain way that gave the whole networking process a really bad name. Prior to 2011, I would often ask people about or tell people about my negative experiences when it came to going to networking events and encountering that one person who had to ruin it for everybody. And very often the people I would be talking to would say, yeah, but I got one better than you. And we would trade stories. But at the end of every conversation, I would ask them, so what did you learn from that experience? Most often than not, people would stop and think for a minute or so and then tell me what they learned. Well, if it was happening to them, I knew it was happening elsewhere around the world. And I put out the call in 2011 through my networks, through other people's networks, and through social media at the time, to hear about the stories and the situations that people found themselves in encountering the world's worst networker. This was published and became a best-selling book in more than 15 countries on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other platforms. So now it's time for a revision. And I'm looking for your tales, your stories, the situations you found yourself in, maybe even a true confession here or there about being or encountering the world's worst networker. Now, let me tell you briefly what the timeline is and how you may be a part of this. First and foremost, I'm using the summer of 2018 to go back and revise and update content and remove some content from this book because it's a little outdated to a certain degree. By November of 2018, the second week of November, I'd like the new book to be out, but we may have to delay that until early 2019. How can you contribute or potentially contribute? I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your ideas and the lessons that you learned by either being the world's worst networker or encountering them. All you need to do is by July 5th, 2018, send me a very quick summary, or if you have an outline or a rough draft, send it to me. You're going to send it to my email address, which is Tim, T-I-M, at tmhouston, Houston.com. Tim at tmhouston.com. And what's going to happen is by the end of July, myself, my editor, we're going to sit down and we're going to go through all of the suggestions and ideas that people have submitted. We're going to make contact with those of you who have a story that we'd love to include in the book. And I'll give you additional information and deadlines by that period after you're contacted. But it doesn't hurt to try right now. Now, I'm going to tell you something that some of you know and some of you don't know. There's a lot of people out there that say, I'm going to make you a best-selling author, or you could be a contributing author in a best-selling book, but it's going to cost you some money. I don't do that. I never do that. As a professional speaker, I get those solicitations all the time to come speak on our stage in front of our audience, but you got to pay us. I don't buy it. I don't do pay for play. So there's no risk and there's no downside to you becoming a contributing author to this book by submitting your idea. And if we pick it up, we'll include it. And what you should also do is go to worldsworstnetworker.com, look at the website for the book. You'll see that all the contributing authors that are in this book, their biographical information, their headshots, a link to their webpage is all up there. Now, for my friends who are contributors, some of your material is timeless and will be in the new version of the book. Some material we may ask you to update, or some of you have actually reached out to me upon hearing this saying, hey, I got a new story I'd like for you to consider. Submit it. We want to know. But not everybody in the original book is going to be in the revised version. We're going to keep the best, and we're going to update it with some additional information from some newer contributors. I'll be reaching out to many of you who contributed in the past, and we'll have a conversation about that. I'd love to include as many people as possible, maybe even make this a little bit bigger of a book with the new material. But it also, the journey of 100 miles starts with the first step. The very first step is submit your idea or an outline or a quick little synopsis by July 5th, 2018 to tim@tmhouston.com. It's been my mission since I've been doing this for many years to help make people's business networking and referral marketing efforts more productive, more profitable, and more prosperous. I am inviting you to come on this journey with me, and hopefully as a result, if you're included as part of this project, you too can become and rightfully say that you are a contributor to a bestseller. If we do this right, not only will we be a bestseller on the online sales platforms like Amazon and others, but if we do this right, this could even make it to some of the bigger bestsellers lists around the world, not just in the United States, but around the world. So come on, I want to know if you're willing to come on the journey, and if you are, send your information. Again, July 5th, 2018 is the deadline. Send it to tim@tmhouston.com. Until we see each other again, this is Tim Houston saying go out there and make it a productive, profitable, and prosperous day. Thanks so much for your attention, folks. I look forward to working with many of you. Take care.